Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. My name is Bob Hall. I'm the account manager working with the MEDCO account. Want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule to spend some time with us tonight and learn about what is probably the most important new product that we've introduced in many, many years from OTC. With us tonight, I've got Ed Lipscomb, who is the product manager in charge of this product. He's going to walk you through all the whys, wherefores, and features and benefits and all the great things about this tool. As Mike Colantonio mentioned a few minutes ago, if you have questions, please let us know. And if there's questions that we can't get answered for you tonight, feel free to reach out to me or anybody on the Bosch OTC team after we're done here this evening. We'll be happy to explain anything that we can't get explained tonight, and really look forward to seeing some increased sales activity after we get done with this presentation tonight. So again, just thanks to everybody for being here. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ed.
Thank you. And by the way, I am evidently not over the cold I thought I was over, so if I grab mute right away and you hear silence, I'm trying to keep you from an annoying cough, and I guarantee you my voice is not as good as the girl we heard on the answering machine. So to get it started here, several ways you can do these kind of presentations, so I opted to select one, and that is to go through using the tools that you may have available to you, and that main tool will be the flyer or the brochure itself, and use that page by page more or less to explain a little bit more about what's being said on the flyer, because obviously when you put a flyer together, you try to hit the points that you're trying to get across, and the feature set, and things that make whatever it is you're trying to sell the reason someone would like to buy it. So to get started, the comment below will be explained better on the next slide, but it's the first Android-based mid-priced integrated scan tool in the market. And let me just go to the next slide to explain that a little better. We felt there were a couple challenges whenever you have a broad scan tool portfolio, as we do in the OTC product lineup. And one of those challenges is you have tools that exist. You have tools perhaps like Genesis Touch that were just released, and so you want to try to explain where each fits, and then of course you want to explain why for each tool and its particular feature set and its targeted audience. In this case, who is the most targeted for this particular tool, in this case Encore. So starting with Genesis Evo, we titled it the obvious, and that is the classic scan tool. Everyone probably knows, but Genesis was released in April 2000, and at the time, scan tools in the market at that point were equipped with 4-line LED displays, and Genesis came on the market as the first with at that time, it's funny now, but at that time, a large color screen, internet updatable, and all those type of features now that we more or less take for granted. But it is the core or the base of what we've done over the years, and it's still what we would term the classic scan tool, and does fit a need and a price point. And now to go up on the other side of Encore, that's Genesis Touch. And in Genesis Touch, you see it titled as a shop tool. Now, like the technician tool that we put a name around Encore, it's like anything else. Nothing is 100%. It's a general direction or a generality. And in this case, the reason for shop tool, there's two essential points that kind of put it into that bucket. And one of them is price point. Obviously, with financing and things like that these days, price point may or may not be as large a point as it once was, or depending on the channel or the person. But at price point of about $3,500, you're getting into that shop purchase. And then the second point is that in this case, it is a J2534 compliant tool. And in a lot of the shop scenarios, you have the shop that is buying your J2534 calibration files and your subscriptions, and essentially supporting the J2534 repair function. So for those couple of reasons, we titled it the shop tool, and of course it's a wireless VCI, wireless car, and so on. So in the price point of a little less than $2,000, using the same approach as I just did for Genesis Touch, it's in the reach of the average technician, quite comfortably. And, that and its feature set. One other thing to note as far as differentiation, I mentioned Genesis Touch is wireless to car. The Encore is tethered to the vehicle with a cable. The feedback to us through various ways since the release of Genesis Touch, you have those that like the wireless feature and the ability to move around the car, and you have others that just want to have the unit charged from the vehicle when they plug it in, and the simplicity of carrying one piece of the car and so on. So it fits that need comfortably. It also helps with the price point with a full functional professional tool. But one thing that I want to make sure that we cover, and that is the importance of the scan functionality in both tools, Encore and Genesis Touch. Even though the differentiation at the price point, you could look at and say, okay, the Touch is a 10-inch screen, the Encore is a 7, so that's different, and that's cost savings. The Touch is a little messenger, I guess. Anyway, the Touch is a J2534 compliant tool, which of course kind of gives it a two-tool-in-one value perspective that is about a $1,500 value. And so you can go down the line and create the, I guess you could say, the justification on the hardware for the differential. But one of the things that you shouldn't do is when you're trying to fix a car, whether it's a $2,000 tool or a $3,500 or $4,000 tool, is to scrimp or shortcut on the scan functionality. That's why Encore, like Genesis Touch, is equipped with our Code to Fix diagnostics that includes the exclusive Identifix features of the Code Assist and the Repair Track and Symptom Assist databases, as well as our other repair information, and likewise with domestic, Asian, and Euro coverage. So the scan functionality minus the J2534 is there in Encore just like it is in Genesis Touch, because frankly, you need to fix a car using both tools. So we felt it important not to scrimp on that. And now, this is back to my thought and process to speak to the features and functions of the Encore utilizing the flyer itself. The flyer number is 13168 and available to you. And so for convenience of the PowerPoint, I've done 2 pages per, and in this case, it's front and back page. And the point of this, of course, is as I emphasized in the earlier slide, it is a technician's tool.
Ed?
Yes?
Can you, is anybody, for some reason I've lost your screen. It doesn't look anybody's connected to it doesn't look like anybody's still connected. It looks like everybody's gone.
I still have it.
Okay. All right, so, okay, everybody's muted, so I can't ask any. Bob, can you still see it?
Yeah, I can still see it.
Okay, keep going then. I can't, for some reason, something is locked up and I cannot get back to the participant panel. I can't see anybody.
For some reason, Mike, you dropped off of the panelist area and are now showing up as a participant.
Okay. Okay. Well, just keep going. We'll figure it out.
Okay. We're going to keep rolling, and hopefully all you folks are out there. But in any event, over to the left here, you can see the kit configuration, and the target focus, of course, is that technician tool, as we explained. And just below that we're quite happy about and proud of is the Encore is manufactured in Owatonna, Minnesota. So it is a U.S.-based tool. We began about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, bringing a lot of the tools and the electronics back from offshore manufacturing to give us greater flexibility and tighter quality control and all those reasons that you bring it back. So we're very happy that the Encore is manufactured in the USA. Next slide. On this slide, there's quite a bit of information, but the simplistic thing to discuss right now is the Android operating system and why. The Android operating system, first of all, is lightweight, in meaning from a processor point of view, it is a little bit more flexible and fast by far than a Windows operating system. And it's a rapidly growing and adopted system, or OS, by a broad market, and it's really starting to take off in the automotive market. There's a lot of peripherals and other optional devices that we're working with various manufacturers on that are creating their products now on Android. So we look forward to a good, strong future in a very fast, stable Android environment. And if I could be very blunt about it, the Windows operating system, while good and it brings a lot to the table, it brings the broad breadth of printer functionality and all of the drivers that Windows supports through businesses, even right down to printers and routers and so on. So not to undersell Windows, but it does come at a cost, and that cost is passed on at the price of the tool. So very happy to have an Android tool. And on the other side, the 30 years of unmatched coverage, one of the things that we like to make clear is the coverage on this tool goes back to 1980, starting with General Motors. And in addition to that, we do have the Identifix assets that I've explained before, and a function called Auto Detect that I'll describe a little bit more about in another slide. So for brevity, I'm going to move on forward here because I want to talk a little bit more about two items. One, coverage, and then the experience-based repair solutions, just a tad more. On coverage, what you see there from coverage enhancements, the numbers that you see over there, the 20,000 systems and 5,000 adjustments and actuations and so on, what that is the 2013 updates, if you will. This is the new functions that we've added into our database over the year 2013. Clearly not all that's in the tool, but as you can see, we've ramped up that effort considerably. And in a way of an explanation, when you see adjustments, think of it this way. An adjustment is something to where when you connect a scan tool and you perform something, you reset the zero on a steering angle sensor. You put in a new TPMS registration number. You do a battery reset, things of that nature. When you do that and you disconnect the scan tool, you have changed something on the car. And that change can be called anything from adjustments, as we do, to coding and things of this nature. And actuations are the simple things that we've known to call bidirectional, and that's making the windshield wipers go on and off and blowing the horns and things of that nature. So clearly these are a lot of numbers. When you see 20,000 systems, those are 20,000 systems that are new and unique. It's not one system over 15 cars. Actually, that 20,000 you can multiply by however many vehicles that system applies to. And then down below, I think it's also important to note that coming in the April release is Land Rover, Subaru, and Jaguar. And that is something that we're very happy with, and it started last year. As a result of the Bosch acquisition of the OTC business, we now have access to the Bosch very extensive databases, particularly in Europe. I think most of you know that if you're in Europe, Bosch is the top there, and they're very extensive in their coverage. So fortunately now, as the OTC equipment over probably the last 6 months are receiving enhancements even to like the Mercedes and BMW and other coverage that we had, we're pulling that out of the Bosch database in Europe. So we're very excited about that. It's going to mean a very good 2014 in future. So happy to point that out. And then in the small print, it does say that we do try to focus on the 1996 to 2008 model years when we're taking a look at this, because the OEM data that is being supplied to us, because we do build our data off OEM data license, in many cases they're starting to finally free up on data that they've never given us before that covers back into those model years, and we're focusing in on building better databases on the cars that technicians work on every day. When you see the 30 million experience-based solutions, it's important to know that we focus that on specifically the Identifix licensed assets that are exclusive to OTC and OTC products, and they're listed there as I did before, the Code Assist, Symptom Assist, and Repair Track. So there are at least 30 million, and they're very year, make, model specific, and they're what actually happens in the field every day. That's recorded by the Identifix team. They're OE technicians. They answer phones and help other shops fix cars every day. There's 40,000 shops, a little more actually, in the field that utilize the Identifix products, and that's where this information comes from. Very important point. Next, we thought it important over in the upper right to give you a little, I guess, quick reference chart as to what functions or features and hardware, etc., is available with each of the three platforms that we described, the Evo, the Encore, and the Genesis Touch. And again, we focus on the Encore in this one, and again, that it's a technician tool. Now, moving from the flyer, we've been asked a lot for just give me a handful of bullet points. All I need is what could be called an elevator speech about your feature and benefit. If you've got just 5 or 6 things that you want to say about your tool that makes you different or better than the competition, what would those be? And what you see here is that list. For whatever reason, Bob, I seem to be made the host again, so I'm going to get rid of this. So let's just go through this quickly. Auto detect, I'm going to talk about that there's a slide dedicated to that, so I'm going to skip that for a moment. The Identifix direct hit deep linking, that also will be discussed in another slide, more specific. But essentially, we do more than just give you a button that you can hit and go to the direct hit website. We take it much further than that. Next is the repair information databases. In addition to the Identifix assets, we also have component test procedures. We have specs like fuel flow and fuel pressures, and even in many cases, just spark plug type and spec. The other thing that was unique with this tool and the Genesis Touch is the micro videos. When we did a lot of interviewing of technicians, what we discovered was they really work hard. They try to do a good job, but even if they're a top-end technician, they can see anything roll over the curb in a general repair shop. And they may be experts on many different vehicles, but you get this X vehicle in that you haven't worked on much. How am I going to test this mass airflow or map sensor or whatever? And then, of course, you have the other end of the spectrum where you may have a technician who's just getting started in a business and he's wanting to use his scan tool to help him test a particular, we'll just use that map sensor again, because he's already connected. So how can I test it quickly with a map sensor or with a scan tool and see if it's working? So what we put together were not courses or classes or long videos or all less than a minute, but they're focused on specific testing of a component. Worked very well for us. We're getting good feedback on that, and I have to say those are going to be added to. That is almost an unlimited amount of videos that we can add. There's a right field out there to add those, and that's something that we're going to be doing on a regular basis. OEM data license, over 30 years coverage. Well, that's what I pointed out earlier, and now, of course, with the Bosch assets available to us, it only got better. So I think I've said enough about that one. And then with Encore, we wanted it to be fast. So if you take an Encore and plug it into the vehicle connector like an OV2 connector with power, it's going to turn on and it's going to boot up in 15 seconds and let you go to work. So very, very happy with that one. But that's our elevator speech of the features.